Let's solve the following example. We have to add two fractions. The very first thing which we're supposed to check, we have to check the denominators. Remember, anytime we want to add fractions, we have to make sure that we are going to have the same denominators. In this case, we have different denominators. First fraction has 12 in the denominator, and the second fraction has 8 in the denominator. What we're supposed to do, we're supposed to find the number which we are going to be able to divide evenly by 8 or by 12. The number which we can divide by 8 or by 12 evenly is 24. Are you seeing that? If not, you have to remember the prime numbers. Prime numbers are numbers which you can divide by 1 or by itself only. They are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and we have some more. Okay, as I said, prime number is the number which we can divide by 1 or by itself only, evenly. So 2 is divisible by 1 and 2 is divisible by 2. If you are going to try to divide 2 by any other number, automatically you are going to end up with the decimals. You don't want to do that. So what we're supposed to do first, if you cannot see that the common denominator is 24, simply I draw two lines. Okay, next to one line I'm going to write 12. 12 is my first denominator. Next to the second line I'm going to write 8. This is my second denominator. Now I have to divide 12 by prime numbers. I always start from the lowest one. 12 is divisible by 2. So I'm going to write 2 over here. 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. 6 is divisible also by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 is divisible by 3. That's why I'm going to write 3 over here. 3 divided by 3 will give me 1. If you are going to have 1 over here, means we've finished conversion the denominator into the prime numbers. Now let's check number 8. 8 is divisible by 2. 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. 4 is divisible also by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 is divisible by 2. That's why I'm going to have 2 divided by 2 is equal 1. Anytime I've finished with 1, means this is end of my division. Now, just take a look. We convert 12 into the product of the prime numbers. In other words, it means that 2 times 2 times 3, right, is equal 12. Over here we have 2 times 2 times 2 is equal 8. I'm going to write these prime numbers in the exponential form. What I mean by that? I'm going to, instead of writing twice number 2, I'm going to write 2 to the second power. Because I have 2 times 2. 2 to the second power means 2 times 2 times 3 is equal 12. Now, let's go with the second denominator. I have 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so this is nothing else, just 2 to the third power, and is equal 8, because 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Now, just take a look over here. We have two equations. Anytime you're looking for the lowest common denominator, you have to always look at the different numbers and the highest powers. Okay, so we have just two different numbers in our equation. I'm talking about the left side of each equation. I have 2 and I have 3. Okay, remember, anytime there is no exponent or no power to the number, there is always invisible one. As I said, we have to choose different numbers and the highest powers. So we have 2 and 2, they are the same, so I have to choose always the one with the highest exponent. So I have what? 2 to the third. And in this case I have no choice, I have to take 3. Other words, 2 to the third, we said 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is equal 24. This is my common denominator. Now let's find the equivalent fractions to 1 over 12 and 5 over 8. So I'm going to have 1 over 12 is equivalent. We said the common denominator is 24. Now you have to ask yourself a question, how many times I have to multiply 12 to get 24? I have to multiply by 2. 12 times 2 gives me 24. Whatever I did in the denominator, I have to do also in the numerator. So if I multiply denominator by 2, I have to also multiply numerator by 2. So I have 1 times 2 gives me 2. Let's check second fraction. I have 5 over 8. We said the common denominator is 24. By what number I have to multiply 8 to get 24? I have to multiply by 3. If I multiply denominator by 3, I have to also multiply numerator by 3. 5 times 3 gives me 15. I found the equivalent fractions to my equation. I have to write 2 over 24 plus 15 over 24. Okay, so now I have common denominator, I can add these fractions. If we want to add these fractions, you have to remember that denominator will always stay the same, which is in this case 24, and I have 2 plus 15 is 17. And this is the solution to the problem.